Okay, this is a little instructional video I've been meaning to do for some time now. It's a little build video on our pan and tilt brackets for the small servos. I'll get my video guide to flash up the part numbers for the pan and tilt brackets and the two small servos, which aren't included in the kit but are available in our store. In the pan and tilt bracket kit, you get these two brackets, this little servo mount and a whole pile of nuts and bolts. And then you'll also need two small servos, and each of the servo comes with this little bag of bits. Now the only thing you're going to be using out the servo bags is this round section here, so I'll take those out of the packets. Then I can get rid of the rest of the stuff off the bench. Now, this is quite a complicated build, and I will be looking over my shoulder from time to time so I can see the example photos I've got on the other PC. But effectively, you'll lay the brackets out on the bench like that, and this one is going to eventually be mounted in this position with a servo here and then a servo underneath it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get one of these white brackets mounted to this section here. So what we're interested in is the little hole in this servo horn has to be lined up with this little hole in the bracket, and we do this by using some of the self-tapping type screws. There's a few different types of screws. The ones with the really fine thread are machine screws, and then you've got two different lengths of self-tappers. You've got a short one and a long one. Now we're going to be using the short ones for this. And you just fix it on in two positions. I'll just might not be able to hold this in front of the camera while I'm doing it because it's quite fiddly. There's a lot of play so to help you get it into the hole, but you just want to get it nice and tight and try not to drop the screws. And you want to get that hole right in the centre of the bracket and get these nice and tight. So there's one of the servo horns mounted. Now the next thing you do is you want to mount the servo. So while we're here mounting servos, I want to set these servos up into their neutral position. So you can either do it by twisting the servo back and forward and find the midpoint, but I always like to use our handy little servo tester. So I'll just power that up and send it to its neutral position. That's one done. And there's the other one done. So these two servos are both in their midpoint. So now I know when I mount that, it's going to be getting mounted vertically like that, and just push it in. Now what we do is we get one of the washers, and this is where you need about 5 hands. So you get one of the washers, the long self-tapper, and you put the long self-tapper through the hole on the bottom bracket and put a washer in between. And then you want to get this lined up so that it goes through that hole and it's going to be screwing into the servo horn. And then just tighten that up. Might need to use a bigger screwdriver for extra torque. Right, so there's the servo mounted. Now you obviously want to hold this bracket at the other side, and to do that you use a nut with the locking bolt and another washer. So put the washer in between, just so you can kind of see the hole, and then pop the nut through so it goes right through the washer and into the bottom bracket. And it's a bit fiddly and you have to play about a little bit, but eventually you'll get it. And then if you just use a pair of long nose pliers to hold the locking nut in place, and then just get a couple of screw threads on it. Excuse me, I've got a cold today, but I needed to get this video done before I go on holiday. It's just dropped off. Yeah, nobody's pretending that this is an easy job to do. It's a complete nightmare, but it's doable. Right, that's it. Threading on now. So hopefully you can see that on the camera. I'm just going to tighten that screw up now. Trying to hold the nut in place. They actually give you quite a stupidly long screw. So it's difficult to hold the nut in position while you're tightening it up. There we go, at last. I keep switching between the jewelers and the larger screwdriver to give me different amounts of torque, but I don't think this large screwdriver is the right size for those screws. Do we have a smaller, a bigger screwdriver, Ian? A number 2. Oh, this one's fine now. Yeah, the flat blade screwdriver is actually working better. It's, you know, it's these American screws that you get. They're perfect Phillips screws, but they're too shallow for our screwdrivers. Our screwdrivers over here seem to be really pointy. I found that when I was building a play centre at my home for my wee boy. The screws, I couldn't get any screwdriver to fit in them nicely. A total nightmare. Right, so that's that tightened up, and you can see that that's kind of panning back and forward. So we tilting back and forward, I should say. So we now want to hold that servo in position, and we do that by popping this unit in, just over there. Now that doesn't fix to the servo at all. It just sits in there like that. The way it fits in is to have these two screws, these two holes here lined up, and then you pop a nut and a bolt through there to hold that to the bottom plate. So you just drop a screw in to that hole, hold it in position, and put a washer on the nut. And then pop one in the other side. It's a kind of diagonal hole, so you can move it about if you don't tighten it up, if you need to adjust it. It's difficult trying to do this on camera. Normally I would have it right up close to my eyes so I can see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to hold it at arm's length so you guys can see it on camera. Okay. Just give these a wee tweak up. Now the next thing we're going to do is just mount this servo horn onto this servo with one of these screws. And then this servo just sits there like that. And all you have to do is get any screw on it that you possibly can. So I'm going to try to get into this one here. What a nightmare. Right, if I can just keep that in the hole, it will thread. And turn it round. Need to loosen this one off, it's gone off centre a little bit. I'll keep that one a bit loose until I get the second one in. Okay, and that's it built. That's as simple as that. If I connect this servo controller up, as I've said in previous videos, these servo controllers can do 2 motors. They'll both do the same thing, but if I switch it on and then I just change this to manual, I can make it go up and down. Like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare thing to build, very fiddly, and you need the right screwdrivers, but as you can see it does work, and it does work quite nicely. Just be aware that when you're tightening this screw up here with the lock bolt, one thing I forgot to mention is you don't want to tighten up really tight. That's why there's a lock bolt there. You want to tighten up so it's just kind of meshing, but if you tighten up too much the mechanism won't tilt. Similarly with this one, you don't want to tighten this one up too much either. So that, leave them nice and loose so you get good tilt motion. Okay, thanks very much.